The year is 2025, and us Nintendo fans know it as the year the Nintendo Switch 2 releases. The rumor mill is running rampant. This entire console is getting leaked to the point where we know a lot of things basically for sure. In this video, I'm going to break down basically everything. I'm going to start with what I believe we know almost for sure. These are rumors that have been confirmed by multiple sources and have been backed up by different leaks. Basically, I would be surprised if these first group of rumors didn't come true. After that, we're going to talk about some speculation, basically things that have been confirmed by reliable sources, but I haven't seen any definitive evidence of. But let's get into the thing that we almost certainly know, which is what this console looks like. What pretty much happened is a bunch of case manufacturers that had dummy models of the Switch 2 leaked what the thing looked like. They have these shells that don't have any hardware in them, but look identical to what the console's physical structure is. This includes the Switch itself, which pretty much looks exactly the same as the Switch 1. Only difference that you can really see is that it's a bit larger, which is always nice. But the one interesting thing is this C button down in the bottom right hand corner. Now we know for sure that this button is on this console basically, but in terms of what it actually does, no one really knows. It's speculated that this is a cast button that will allow you to cast the image to the TV and allow the Switch 2 to basically function as a Wii U gamepad, but I honestly don't know. There's been nothing definitive on this. I honestly don't know if I would really like that if that was the feature. Like, let's leave the Wii U concept in the past. It'd work well for stuff like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD ports, but honestly, I could do without it. And I don't want any developers getting confused thinking they have to use a second screen for this thing. Also, based on these physical models of the Switch 2, we know pretty much for sure that the Joy-Cons are now going to be attached magnetically. This is a pretty big difference from the Switch 1. A lot of people have been debating exactly how these magnets work. The nightmare scenario is that these magnets will weaken over time and allow our Joy-Cons to not really stay on super firmly. However, based on these leaked models, we've seen that there is a little latch on the back. So I think even if that did happen, hopefully the latch will keep them secure, but it's a very interesting change. If this works, that's great. It makes it a lot more simple to put these things on, and I know the little rails got damaged for some people. So hopefully Nintendo thinks about this in a smart way. Also, the renders think they've pretty much got the Switch 2 logo, which is on basically all of them. The logo looks fine to me. Like, honestly, I don't know what else they would have really done. So yeah, kind of inoffensive. This does confirm that the console is named Switch 2, assuming these are accurate, which I think is the best outcome. We definitely didn't want a Nintendo Switch U on our hands. But I like the Wii U name. It really made it seem like this console was made for me. Jimmy, go to your room. Sorry, where were we? To recap, these renders have revealed a larger console, a brand new C button, magnetic Joy-Cons, and the actual logo for this thing. So that alone is a lot of information. I'm sure Nintendo did not want getting out before the actual reveal. Luckily, this is not groundbreaking. I mean, it's a bigger Switch, right? With an extra button and different ways of attaching some stuff. Before we move on to our next rumor, please take the time to consider subscribing. If you look at my sub number, we are so close to 1,000 subscribers. I can taste it. If we can get there on this video, that would be awesome, and I would super appreciate it. Luckily, we have had some leaks that can give us an idea of what the specs are gonna look like. First things first, this thing pretty much is guaranteed to use Nvidia DLSS technology. What DLSS is it allows AI to upscale quality based on machine learning. And I know some of you hear the word AI and get scared, but I'll tell you, this is a good use of AI. It allows weaker consoles to display in qualities like 4K without turning them into a furnace. With that, basically everything we've heard says that the Switch 2 will be capable of outputting in 4K. This is awesome. It leads you to believe that it's going to be at least somewhat on par with modern consoles, which basically, if you can get on par with the PS4, it's going to be on par with modern consoles because every game gets a PS4 release still anyway. People are saying PS4 Pro, and I think a lot of people have said that. It's borderline on the tier of not speculation at this point, but lately there have been some people who are saying that that might not be the case. Because yesterday we got a full motherboard leak. The reason that this motherboard falls in the pretty much guaranteed to be real category is because it lines up with all of those renders we saw that were based on what the case manufacturers leaked. So yeah, this is pretty big. This basically confirms one thing. This thing is going to have 12 gigabytes of RAM. To put this in perspective, the Nintendo Switch 1 has a measly 4 gigabytes of RAM. This would mean that the Switch 2 has 3 times the amount. The PS5 has 16 gigabytes of RAM, which would only put it 4 short. Now listen, would I prefer we have 16 gigabytes? Absolutely, but 12 is a heck of a lot better than 8, and 8 was a real possibility. In my opinion, 12 gigabytes is really good news for the Switch 2. Now to get back to speculation on this thing, things that we don't really know, people are really trying to read into what this Nvidia processor is going to be capable of. Some people are talking doomsday, like, oh, it's not going to be as powerful as the PS4 Pro, forget about that. And some people are saying it's fine based on various slot sizes, but the truth is, on this one, we just don't know. This motherboard was leaked last night, so I'm sure throughout the next couple days, a bunch of stuff is going to come out from people who are a lot smarter than I am. This gives us a better idea than ever, though, of what the specs are going to look like on this thing. The next thing I would put in the basically know for sure category is there's going to be upgraded ports of Switch 1 games. There have been multiple sources that have said they have seen Breath of the Wild running in like 4K 60 FPS on this thing. And the rumors don't end there. I think they're going to be doing this for a lot of the Switch 1 games. Honestly, they would be crazy not to. I believe if my memory serves me right, the Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door remake had a 4K 60 FPS option in its code. So it seems like a lot of games that we've already seen are already preparing for enhanced ports. This is awesome because a lot of the Switch 2's best games have one major flaw. They run like complete garbage. If you watched my plethora of Mario and Luigi Brothership content, you'll know I loved the game, but my biggest problem was the performance. You improve the stability and the load times of that game, it goes from an 8 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10 for me. Easy. What we have to hope is that these are free enhancements and Nintendo doesn't make us pay for them. It would be a very Nintendo thing to do to charge us for these, which would be kind of sad. And listen, I'd rather be charged for them than not have them at all. But like, if you're gonna charge us for them, charge us like $10. Don't make us buy the whole game again. Also, speaking of the Thousand Year Door remake, that remake is perfect. With one exception, it runs at 30 FPS. They could easily get this thing running at 60 on the Switch 2, and if they don't, it would be a huge missed opportunity. Also, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom running even better is just a dream, and I will happily replay those games at 4K 60 FPS. To go along with that, we also pretty much know this thing is going to be backwards compatible, which isn't a big surprise. The Switch 1 is going to be the best-selling console of all time, so to not bring that install base over would be kind of crazy. There's really not much more to talk about when it comes to backwards compatibility. It's like, yep, they didn't do the stupid thing. Let's move on. And finally, in the things we pretty much know for sure, we know the release date will be before the end of March. Nintendo has literally said they are going to reveal this thing before the end of the first quarter of 2025. But that does not stop speculation. A lot of people are saying they're going to reveal this thing in January. They think because so much is leaking and so many things are coming out, like this video, they're just gonna go ahead and get ahead of it because truly, we're gonna know everything about this console anyway before it gets revealed, so they can throw together a little trailer for us. But again, that's just speculation. And now let's get to the good stuff. We're gonna go on pure speculation from here on out. These are things that very well may not happen. The first one is something I put in the thumbnail because it's exciting, but a Reddit user who leaked a model of the Nintendo Switch 2 who was said to be very accurate by a ton of people have said there's going to be a game with 9 in it as a launch title. If you know anything about any Nintendo games at all, you're gonna know that Mario Kart 8 has been out since 2014 and Mario Kart 9 is such a no-brainer for the Switch 2. Given the sheer sales of Mario Kart 8, it makes a lot of sense that they would want to get Mario Kart 9 out on the Switch 2 instantly. It's gonna print them more money. Before this, there was a lot of people saying that a new 3D Mario was gonna be the launch title, so this might actually overtake it now as the primary launch title rumor. Personally, I would prefer a new 3D Mario, but I will be very excited for both. I love Mario Kart 8, and it is beyond time for a new game. And Mario Kart 8 to this day is beautiful, and that game was made in 2014 on the Wii U. I can't even imagine what that team's gonna be able to do with an infinite budget and the actual power of a console like the Switch 2. It's gonna be the most beautiful Nintendo game of all time. I'm calling it right now. There's also been a lot of speculation that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a cross-platform game. This is based off of pretty much nothing as far as I know, but it just makes so much sense. A game as big and beautiful as that's going to release after the Switch 2 would be crazy not to put on the Switch 2, especially given what the enhancements of that console could do for the game. It's gonna be a Breath of the Wild situation. They promised it to us on Switch 1, so they're gonna have to release a version for that, but the way to play this game is going to be on Switch 2. At least, I hope. There's also been some people who have claimed that they have what the Pro Controller is gonna look like, but this hasn't been backed up enough for me to say it's a sure thing. They say it looks pretty much like the Switch 1 Pro Controller, but it has 2 new buttons on the back, which is interesting. I don't even know where those would really go. It says they're called GL and GR. I don't know if these would be like the little pallets on the back of like an Xbox Pro series controller, but I don't know. I have absolutely no idea, so I'm not even gonna speculate on it. And they're also saying that it has a headphone jack, which it better, because the fact that the first one doesn't is just insane. So yeah, if that rumor ends up being true, that'll be awesome. The Switch 1 Pro Controller is awesome, so they don't really need to change much, but those couple of changes that are rumored would be very welcome for me. But I think that's pretty much it. There are some other speculations on the specs. There's always speculation on the reveal date, but in terms of actual tangible stuff, that's all I want to talk about here today. This thing could be revealed any minute. It's likely that my next video will be a reaction to the reveal. It could come that soon. If you want to see my Switch 2 content, be sure to subscribe. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers, I can taste it. I'm going to be covering everything about this console, so I hope you join me for all of it. But anyway, I think that's all I have for you guys today, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.